Hello, fantastic people. I hope you're having a great day. If you've been watching my videos by now, you understand that we are battling principalities, although, as the world's empire, we also understand that there are many enemies within and without, foreign and domestic. We know everyone from the Department of Defense to the Department of Justice to the Department of Education have been complicit in crimes against humanity, especially children, for decades now, going back to at least the Contras. Currently, we have quite a few enemies accelerating their plans of dominion. We have the Catholic Church and their liberation theology with this free Palestine, which of course we can all agree that Gaza is genocide, and it's absolutely disgusting what the state of Israel has been doing around that region, but especially in Gaza. However, what does this Palestine stuff have to do with ICE, who is simply doing their job of deporting illegal aliens, and also its connection to the UK? Because we're seeing how the royals have completely turned their backs on the people, how the government has completely betrayed them, and they are, looks like, hand in hand with Hamas. You have to remember that the UK used to own Palestine. So those ties go back ways back. You also have to remember the royal families are very corrupt. Many are complicit in these crimes against children. In fact, we're learning that they're lending out their castles for satanic rituals for other royals, members of the Vatican, etc. Billionaires, of course, are playing their role. And gosh, I mean, I guess we've been learning a lot. Enemies, domestic and foreign. It just comes with being an empire. We have the Roman Catholic Church, their liberation theology, like I stated, with these protests, just like we saw in the 60s. It's the same thing. It's just not Vietnam this time. They're exploiting the situation, and they're going after ICE agents instead of the government. It's just absolute asinine, and everybody should be able to see right through it. But yes, we do stand with Palestine, but we don't stand with Hamas. Anyway, the Vatican, also their daughters, the Mormons, LDS in Utah. We also have Scientology, which is a satanic cult and intelligence agency. That's what Scientology is. And they're rolling out the digital ID. They're taking over in that way. We also have Islam. Islam has been shipped over by Biden and Obama, and I don't know who else. I think just Biden and Obama, but I could be wrong. And of course, the Democratic governors. And yeah, I mean, we have got a real big problem right now with Islam in Texas, in New York. What we need to do is make sure that we give heat to the representatives, the ones who are making our laws. Call them up. We need to push anti-Sharia laws. Now, Sharia means law. That's their Islamic law. So we need to pass anti-Sharia laws throughout the nation. We need to make sure that Sharia can never come to America, never step foot in any town in this nation. Or we're going to see something like likening of the Crusades. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. The greatest way to unite on this earth is through Christ. That's why we are constantly under attack by these other religions, these satanic cults. And of course we have Israel, the state of Israel. Nobody can answer who are these people? Who are these people? Jews means nothing. You know, it's even more vague than black. Okay? Jews could be anybody. It's a converting thing. It's all about converting people. It's like Islam, right? They want to convert. So these Jews in the state of Israel who have been smuggling weapons out of the United States since the 40s, as far as I can tell. I mean, why do you think Ukraine and Israel are using American weapons? It's not just American weapons, but they're using American weapons. And I cannot believe Trump didn't stop it, and this is why I believe he's a globalist. Just not sure about this border thing. I don't know if it was a trick or if he actually is an American first globalist. I don't know. He's an anomaly, this man. I know the borders crisis is how he got elected, so it could just be part of the plan. But Israel, what a problem they are. What do they own, the Senate, the majority? It's crazy. Any politician who supports Israel should be viewed as a Zionist and should never be elected. We never elect a candidate who is going to be a Zionist, a pro-Israel Zionist, because Israel has been wicked from the start. And if you don't believe me, look into the Yemen children. Look into all the missing babies and toddlers that whoever these people are in the state of Israel, these Jews, stole. What did they do with the Yemen babies? Anybody ever find out what the Jews did with the Yemen babies, or have we yet to find the mass grave like we did with the Catholic Church, the mass graves of babies in Ireland? We've also found mass graves of babies here in America. So we know this wickedness has been here a long time. So we have the royals, we have the Vatican and its daughters, right? Because if you look at the churches in America, they are lost. I don't know what they're doing. It's just this crazy, ridiculous, pathetic fluff at every church. It's lukewarm everywhere, it seems. I shouldn't say everywhere. I'm sure there are still good churches. I just haven't been able to find one, and I've been to many. Got to be careful, you guys. There's a lot of craziness going on. So we got this Catholic Church influence. We've got Chinese nationalists buying property next to what? Air forces, military bases. Okay? We got these Islamists who are trying to conquer. They actually have conquered New York City. Now they're looking to conquer Texas. And we have the state of Israel. Right? And these lunatics, these psychopaths over there, dictating policy, spreading propaganda, and I believe trafficking children. I think that's one thing that ties them all together. It's drug trafficking. If you're going to traffic drugs, you might as well traffic people. I mean, that's what I hear. That's what they say. If you're going to do one, you might as well do the other. The other is probably more lucrative, because then you have all the child porn, which America seems to love, because we're ranked #1 for that. So, got these 4 entities. What do we do? I don't know what to do about the Catholic Church, because you have Catholics who have been indoctrinated, and they are just, we are Catholics. That's it. You know, we pray for them. We do our best in that situation, but we saw in Washington State, the government blocked Washington State from holding Catholic priests accountable as being reporters for child abuse, just like teachers are. Meaning that, hey, if somebody comes into confessional and is a serial child rapist, you have to tell the authorities. And the fact that the Catholic Church wouldn't tell should be enough. Anybody needs to know about the Catholic Church. But obviously it isn't. I think that we need to handle Islam like we handle communism. Call your representative. Get the laws passed. Anti-Sharia is what we need. The laws that we need are anti-Sharia. Laws that protect us from Sharia popping up in any community. Not a single community in this nation should have Sharia. Not a single one. And we also need to be careful of these mystics, these occultists over in Israel as well who are practicing Kabbalah. You know about Kabbalah? I mean, I've been getting into it for a while now. Trump was Kabbalah trained. What is this mysticism? It's practiced by the Freemasons. The Freemasons allow everything except for Christianity, because Christianity, is very strict, and it doesn't allow any of this witchcraft or sorcery or mysticism. But Freemasonry is smart. Let's open a club, right? Let's start a club so we can learn all the forbidden knowledge from around the world. It's really smart. But a big component of Freemasonry is Kabbalah. And I didn't know why. And I've been trying to figure out what's going on with the Talmud and the Torah, because there are some super, super shady allegations regarding the disgusting topic of sex with children and what is permitted. We also know that the ultra-Orthodox spit on Christians. They view us as shiksa. We're abominations. We know about that child trafficking, what seemed to be a child trafficking ring in, I believe it was Brooklyn.
And they dirty.
Whatever that's called, that Jewish building institution, the tunnels that they found there. We know that they use tunnels. The Vatican uses tunnels. There's tunnels under Congress, under the Library of Congress, under the Smithsonian. I mean, celebrities have tunnels. It's just a massive tunnel network, and they use that for child trafficking. So this is what we have going on. And what keeps us safe and sound every day? Well, our soldiers, our military men, our police officers, the good ones, because there are a lot of rotten cops out there, just like a lot of rotten judges. But yeah, the good ones. And God. It is like a miracle that we haven't been conquered by one of these forces. But I'll tell you what, right now, I want to focus on Israel. Because like I said, they are already, we're worried about Islam conquering, with this Mudini guy in New York City. And he's a joke, but he's got that same creepy look that Netanyahu does, right? Doesn't he? Look away. This Islam guy. We're worried about that. But the state of Israel is they have already infiltrated. They've pretty much conquered our Senate. So we need to take care of that problem, and we need to expose them for who they truly are. And really, we got to get them out of American politics. We got to get their propaganda off our TVs. It is getting out of control. So check out this video and let me know what you think. And then maybe we can get into Islam next. We can talk about the Crusades and that propaganda and influence and how it's associated with the UK. Because that is a mystery, isn't it perplexing? Why would they do that to their own nation? So we'll get into that next. All right. Have a great day. Love you. God bless you. Remember to pray. Bye-bye. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I don't know who the man pictured is or who the voiceover is. My guess is it's just a translation. So try not to pay attention to that. It's really just the information he's providing that we need to focus on, because if this is correct, then according to this information, the mystic Jews, the Kabbalah practicing Jews, and Freemasons, as they incorporate all religions in Freemasonry, which, except Christianity, of course, but Catholicism for sure. Remember, those two are separate. It's very, very smart to create a club that incorporates all known knowledge from the fallen angels, right, around the globe. Very smart. Anyway, this is specifically Kabbalah and its ancient texts. And according to this man, it appears that perhaps the Jews were the first to clone a human being through this mysticism and forbidden knowledge.
Torah. Some enter through the gate of law and logic, others through the gate of mystical stories, and a select few through the gate of mystery and the unknowable.
He was talking about the Torah.
There are gates that should not be opened, at least not without proper preparation and guidance. Imagine with me, you are in the library of Cambridge University, in the Rare Manuscripts Department. Security escorts you carefully to a climate-controlled room. White gloves are mandatory, cameras are prohibited. Before you, a manuscript from 800 years ago. The Hebrew letters seem to dance on the page. Some words are faded, others have been deliberately erased and scratched out. This is one of the texts that I will reveal to you now. The first group are called cosmological texts, books that explain how God created the universe and reality. Sefer Yetzirah, the book of formation, the Sefer Yetzirah. The book of formation is the most ancient of them all. Some say it was written by Abraham himself. Others, who explain it in a more grounded way, say that God taught it to Adam himself at creation. In this book it is revealed that God created everything with 32 paths of wisdom. Let me explain this. 22 Hebrew letters and the 10 Sphirot, the 10 divine emanations. It seems abstract, doesn't it? But the book claims something deeply disturbing and profound. Whoever masters these combinations can create life. The Talmud tells us that Rava, one of the great sages of the Talmud era, he created a man using the Sefer Yetzirah. He sent his creation to Rabbi Zira, a great rabbi from his time, who noticed that this being had no soul or life force. He ended up destroying this being. Medieval rabbis knew this was so serious that the myth was created, or perhaps the great truth, of the Golem of Prague, a clay being animated by the techniques of Sefer Yetzirah. The second cosmological text is the Sefer HaBahir, the Book of Illumination. It appeared in Provence, in France, in the 12th century. Nobody knows exactly who wrote it. It introduces some very bold concepts. It speaks of reincarnation, speaks of Sphirot as divine personalities, and the Shechina as a feminine aspect of God. Here you are already understanding that the person who does not understand the Kabbalistic codes will understand everything wrong. But where did these ideas come from? How can the book simply appear and bring these revolutionary concepts? The third one is more disturbing and challenging. Sefer HaDemuna, the Book of the Image. It claims that there are 7 cycles of creation, each one lasting 7,000 years. We are in the second cycle. Each cycle has its own Torah, its own laws. If this is true, everything we know is temporary and changing. Even the divine laws change according to the 7,000 years we are talking about. Just imagine the impact of this in a religion based on eternal laws. Once again, it becomes clear, without true understanding, this will create confusion in your mind. Oh, but wait. If these 3 books are already complex, the next 5 are the ones that really caused panic. They are texts from Merkava literature, which are detailed instructions on how to ascend to the heavens without dying. That's right, how to make the journey that the prophet Elijah made, but come back to tell the story. The Talmud is very clear about what happens to those who try without preparation. Do you remember the 4 who entered the parts? 3 did not survive intact. But there have always been those who thought they were special, that the rules did not apply to them. Do you want to know what these texts teach and why the rabbis preferred to die rather than reveal these secrets? The Merkava texts are the most dangerous of all Hashalat Rabbati. The greater palaces it describes in great detail the 7 heavens. Each heaven has its own palaces. Each palace has its own guardians. And each guardian has a test. Fail the test, your soul gets trapped. Your body continues to live, but it becomes empty. It is what doctors today would call a coma. The text gives the names of the guardians, the passwords to pass through, the seals to show. But there is a problem. One wrong word, one incorrect pronunciation, and you do not come back. Heshelat Zutardi, the Lesser Palaces. Even more specific than the first. It teaches the transformation of the physical body to endure the journey. Fasts of 40 days, immersions in freezing water, recitation of divine names thousands of times. The body needs to become almost transparent, the texts say. But how exactly do you do this in reality? But the most impressive is the Sefer Heshelat. It tells the story of how Chanukh, Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, transformed into the angel Metatron. He did not die, he was transformed into celestial fire. He became the Prince of the Face, the
Like
most
Megatron?
powerful angel below the divine throne. And the book gives the formula, step by step.
Okay, nerds, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Did they just say Metatron? Anybody else out there a huge Transformers fan? That history of Metatron, it sounds a lot like Megatron, doesn't it? Have you watched the origin movie, the Transformers? I think it's titled 1, Transformers 1. Recently, just came out this year or within the last couple of years. It's pretty awesome. I just watched it. But hello, predictive programming. And they're doing it with our kids all the time. I just covered that new creepy spiritual CIA type of children's show, Unlisted, in my other video. Well, now we know Transformers was as well. And when you look back, like check out He-Man, the Thundercats, Gargoyles. It all makes sense now. Anyway, check this out real quick. This intro is cool. It's a pretty cool intro. What are they showing us? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? This is that weird upside down world that we see often in movies and stories. It's almost like the parallel. Stranger Things just calls it the upside down.
The matrix of leadership. Matrix, there it is. Okay, good. Come on, keep going. With the matrix in the Prime's possession, Cybertron's natural power source, Energon, flowed in abundance, sustaining life for generations. There was peace and prosperity until the matrix of leadership was lost, causing energy.
Okay, that's the Death Star. That's the moon.
To no longer flow. Why does every legend about the Matrix end right there? Hey, fellas, thanks for the head start. You want to give me another one? You're dead. I'll take that as a no. Hey, that's where you're going, Lord. What did you say, no cog? Sorry, sir. I didn't mean you. I was referring to...
That's Megatron.
Where'd he go?
The filthy red and blue bot has a big mouth, squeaky joints. All right, all clear.
Okay, D16, I may be a little dusty, but Corona, that is too far.
Let me guess. Checked out of the archives.
Yeah, I had to jump out of the window.
Okay, so what does this have to do with Netanyahu? Maybe nothing. But to me, it seems like this all-spark, this life-creating ceremony, ritual, whatever it is, this demonic knowledge sounds a lot like what we've been shown ever since we were little kids, doesn't it? So this robot D, he experiences tremendous loss. He goes to the dark side and becomes Megatron. You may have noticed that I cut my hair. Not that it's important or anything, but I have to tell you, I am absolutely disturbed by the amount of value that our society places on superficiality. And the fact that there is becoming a type of fake beauty, a type of pretty that's being like mass produced among leadership in this country and celebrities. Do you know what look I'm talking about? It's like all these women are getting plastic surgery and doing their hair this long curly, like it is like it's like a Barbie look. It's a just what is that movie about the housewives? Matthew Broderick. What is that called? What were they called? Stepford. Were they Stepford wives? I'm seeing this ideology, and I think it's rotting our society because it's making young girls believe that their value is all superficial, that their value's in their long hair, that their value's in their makeup face and their clothing and I even see with the little kids, the brand of lotion they use, hand sanitizer, and what necklaces they wear. It's just, and for the last 10 years, any woman sporting a do like this, or a girl who wanted to have short hair, would probably have been branded a lesbian or transgender, right? I grew up a tomboy. I've always been a tomboy. It's who I am. It's who I will be forever. However, the older I got, the more I like to do girly things, right? Makeup, dresses, high heels. But then with age comes wisdom. And I now know where makeup comes from. And I now know that Hollywood and the music industry and society lied to me. My value is far beyond the superficial. It's inside. And that's exactly where beauty comes from. And it doesn't matter what you do to this or this. If you're not beautiful inside, you will never be beautiful outside. Never. You could be pretty, but you'll never be beautiful. And I'm seeing people throw their support behind individuals who work for these grooming industries, fashion and, makeup, beauty, basically, modeling. So grooming industries. They take advantage, they exploit vulnerable and at times desperate teenage girls. There's really no benefit to society. These industries do nothing for anybody, really. I mean, if your value is going to be in your makeup, I'm sad for you. I'm very sad for you. I witnessed my stepsister have a mental breakdown one Christmas because she didn't think that she got her Sephora lip gloss, but it turned out it was in the bottom of her stocking, and she was an adult woman. I think she was 20 at the time. This is destroying our society because these young girls are growing up. They don't care about what they are on the inside because their parents are prioritizing the superficial. So we get a lot of problems. And the Department of Education is 100% weaponized, and it has been for a while, at least since the days of the beginning of the American question, right? Was that the 50s? Piaget? And I will absolutely 100% make that video. I promise. I'll get working on it today. Putting off on that because I've discussed this topic so many times. I'm almost burnt out, but I have to keep pushing it because what the Department of Education has been doing on the federal level and the state level is absolutely criminal, and it needs to stop. And the public school system needs to be completely gutted. It has to be totally gutted. It's toxic. But that'll be for another day. But yeah. I'm bringing back the tomboy, man. Enough is enough. We got to teach women, girls especially, we have to raise our girls to understand what true beauty is, to value character above all else, or we are toast. We are toast. We're going to have Mandinis all over this nation. All over, right? We're going to have just, I mean, I can't even imagine what society's going to be like with more generations just continuing to grow up to not care about their character. You might not know this. Gen X, according to Pew Research, and I love statistics, so I appreciate this survey. According to Pew Research, Gen X was the last generation to include morals, values, respect in their top 3 defining characteristics. They were asked their top 3 defining characteristics, and amongst the top 3, and I believe it was ranked 3rd, was morals and values. They were the last generation. Prior to them, every generation listed that as top 3. Gen X was the last one. Do you know what Gen Y replaced morals and values with? Pop culture. Okay? That's what we're up against. And a lot of it has to do with all this occult, all this Satanism that's been infiltrating society through Hollywood and the government. Because remember, NASA. Remember, all the occult activity there. I mean, there is a lot. The CIA. You know, those Nazis, they were cultists as well. But, I mean, so were, it was already here, right? Scientology and the CIA. I mean, that's a really interesting partnership, don't you think? Anyway, bringing back the tomboy. Girls, this has nothing to do with your value whatsoever. Not at all. I mean, keep it clean, you know? Stay clean for sure. And, yeah, you can do your hair, you know? But this isn't your value. This means nothing. It's just aesthetics. So I'm bringing back the tomboy. Tired of seeing these Stepford wives all over the place. We're seeing it. This administration it's so disturbing. Trump, I have to say, thank God he closed our borders. Thank God, thank God, thank God. I hope to God he is fighting the traffickers, the child traffickers, and the drug traffickers, and the weapons dealers, traffickers, you know, those smugglers. I hope he is fighting all of this, and he didn't just take over the ring. And he's just fighting, you know, the cartels who are, you know, competing against him. I hope to God he truly is trying to stop all this trafficking. But that man is so materialistic and superficial, it's very, very, very concerning. He is influenced heavily by things like physical traits. He makes a big deal about if he finds somebody attractive. Height. He's a height supremacist. There are a lot of height supremacists out there. It's really weird. People actually believe that tall people are superior. That to me sounds like a Nazi thing, because the Nazis were obsessed with the Nordics. And the Nordics are supposed to be this race of alien, right? That's his Aryan race. They were these Nordics. So whenever I see a height supremacist, I think Nazi, I think occult, I think bad news. Anyway, bringing back the tomboy. And you know what? Tomboys are more fun anyway. So I think it'll be a good thing.
There should not be found in you anyone who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire, anyone who employs divination, a practicer of magic, or anyone who looks for omens or a sorcerer, or one who binds others with a spell, or anyone who consults a spirit, medium, or a professional foreteller of events, or anyone who inquires of the dead. For everybody doing these things is something detestable to Jehovah. And on account of these detestable things, Jehovah your God is driving them away from before you. Deuteronomy 18:10 through 12. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you.